Hello everybody, Gliderman here. So today we're back in Blender and we're going to be working on modeling a character. And this will be a multi-step tutorial slash kind of what I'm doing here. But basically we're going to go through all of the different individual steps to get a fully rigged character and animate it. Starting with modeling it and going all the way through the rigging and the inverse kinematics and then the animation. So let's get started. So what I'm going to be using is the Cycles render engine. So I'm going to switch it from the Blender render to Cycles. And that's just going to switch it into a little bit of, in my opinion, a better engine. And it's going to look a little bit more realistic. So I'm just going to drag this over here. And we're going to basically just do some basic scene setup. If you just want to skip ahead to the modeling, click up here to skip ahead. And if you're on a mobile device, well, they don't support annotations, and you can't do that. Sorry. So we're just going to go to the lamp. We're going to change that to a sun, and that looks pretty good. For the color, we'll set the blue to 0.318, like that. And actually we'll use nodes, and the strength is 4.5. And if we just pop real quick to using the GPU, because that's what I'm using. I've got a GPU on this computer. Let's see how that looks. Okay. And then we'll pop to this, surface, background, hue saturation value, and then this color will be a sky texture, and we'll change that to Prism. And then bump up the value to 1.3. So now everything is looking pretty good. This cube is kind of starting to hide away, but whatever. And we need to get to that lamp real quick because we need to make sure that it's pointing down. So I think we'll just set everything to 0. Okay, so now the lamp's pointing down. And despite the sun being over here, technically it is an infinitely wide plane, basically, shining down, and therefore it won't have any weird shadows going on. Okay, so that looks proper there. Let's go into edit mode real quick, and we're going to also switch to proportional edit, or not proportional edit, the snap there. And then we can just drag that up one block so that the origin is sitting right on this plane here, and the mesh is actually above. And I also found the plugin or add-on for Blender so that we can have the screencast keys. And so now you can see, like, as I'm middle mousing, it shows what buttons I'm pressing. If I right click, then it shows I right click, and any keys that I'm pressing go into the right there. So I can press escape or whatever, and you guys can see that. So anyway, now we're just going to make a little basic ground. Let's scale that up to 30, just so that we've got something there. Let's just give that a material. We'll call it ground, and we'll just make that like a dark green, like that. And for the viewport color, we're just going to drop that straight onto there. And let's render this and see how that looks. That looks pretty good. Probably could be a little bit darker. Yeah, right about there looks good. Just drop that back onto the viewport. So now we've got the basics of the scene built up, so that when we render it, we get a little bit of a realistic view of what it would actually look like. So now we're going to select the cube that we've got here with right click. Let's go to the little cube that shows there, which is just the object properties, and we'll rename it character. And we'll do the same with the ground. Instead of calling it a plane, we'll call that ground. And then this cube, we're going to go to the modifiers tab here, and we're going to add a modifier. Let's see here, where is it? Subdivision surface. And now you can see it kind of just transformed it into a ball. and if we just bump up the subdivisions, you can see it makes it smoother and smoother. We're going to bump these both to 4. So basically what it allows you to do here is I can model at 2 subdivisions and then have it render at a higher quality, but it's going to be few enough vertices that the 4 will be perfectly fine. And now what's really cool with this is if we tab into edit mode, you can see we've only got 8 vertices. Now how is that working? It's because of the subdivision surface here. So if I like grab this point here, you can see like the entire mesh is deforming to try to take up like an even amount of space and in there. And if we just press N, you can see it brings up this little side panel over here. And we could even say bump up the weight on, let's just say, this side of the plane, the mean crease here. So now we've got a flat side to it that we've just messed around with that. That's just a little something there. So what I'm kind of gonna build here is mostly like just a blocky character. You're free to build whatever kind of character that you want, but this is just what I'm going to be using. And I'm going to extrude on the Z, and we'll extrude that too. We'll select everything by pressing A, and then we'll scale on the Z 0.5, and we'll see how that looks. Actually, that looks slightly squished. Let's grab on the Z and move that up 1, and scale on the Z by 1.5. Yeah, that looks about good. So this will be like the body of the character. And I guess what we can do real quick is we can pop and we can say, hey, shade the smooth, and then we're going to have some sharper edges, and we're going to have the edge split modifier. And that's not going to do anything right away, but I'll show you what it can do. If we just go to face select, and then let's just say we inset with I, we've got that, and then let's just say we bumped up the crease. Let's see, that and that. So now it's sharp on this edge here, but it's smooth going around it, and so that is quite nice for us. So let's go back to here, and we'll go back into edit mode. So we're gonna have like kind of 2 stubby arms off of each side, and what we could do is a mirror modifier. So if we just go add modifier, mirror, and if we just did Control R to loop, cut, and slide, we can cut down the middle, and then we'll select using this brush here with C, and then C again, and then left click and drag up on those. We'll X, delete vertices, and you can see it's duplicated over onto the other side, and you could see if I had disabled the X and Y, it goes like that. So that's pretty cool. And that allows us to only need to mess with one side of the model rather than 2 sides. So let's go to face select here, and we'll grab this face like that, and we'll press I, and now you can kind of see that it's making kind of arms here. And we'll go to 0.6 like that. We'll pop it to side view, and let's go into wireframe so that we can kind of get a better idea of what we're looking at. So now we're going to press S to scale, and then Y, and then it looks like we want to go to about that size to kind of make it square. And we'll press Z again to get out of wireframe there, and then we'll go into front view by pressing 1. And then we're going to make like an arm. Let's make it go out to here. So we're going to extrude, and then it's going to go right about to there. Perfect. So now we've got you know, a basic arm, but it could certainly be better. So let's press N and bump up the mean crease to 1, and now you can see the arm goes all the way straight to the end. And what we can probably also do is we can Control R to do another loop cut and slide, and then make the arm have a middle joint there. So now we're basically going to do the exact same thing, but with the legs. So we've got this bottom plane here. We're going to press I to inset, and then we'll scale to, let's say, 0.5. Oh, 0.5 is too much. Let's do 0.4. And let's also move this ground plane to a separate layer. So I selected it with right click, I pressed M, and then we're going to just move it to the second one so that we can go to from bottom view. So we'll do tab into edit mode, and then should be Control 7 to go into bottom. 7 would be top, Control 7 basically is the reverse of that. And now we're going to scale along the Y, and then make that kind of into an almost square, and then back to front view. And then we'll extrude, and we'll go right down to the ground there. We'll bump up the mean crease. We'll do another loop cut and slide there. So I think what we'll do to kind of smooth out everything down there is we're actually going to get rid of this mirror modifier now. So we're just going to hit X on that. And then we're going to duplicate with Shift D, and then press escape. So we've got another copy there, and if I just grab it, you can see that's where it is now. And then we'll go to mesh, and then mirror, and then we'll go to interactive mirror, and we'll see which way we want to flip it. You know what? We should go and we should say, hey, mirror about the 3D cursor. So the shortcut for that was Control M for the interactive. And then we just type X and it flips along the X. If we wanted Y, it would go along the Y, Z. And so I'm just pressing X, Y, and Z. And then there we go. And then we're going to select everything. And then we're going to go and we're going to remove doubles. And there we go. So that smoothed out this part down here. And it looks like we're going to need to recalculate the normals. So we go to Mesh, Normals, and then we'll recalculate the outside. So that everything is all nice and good there. We'll grab these four corners here, and we'll scale them in on everything but the Z. So S, and then Shift Control Z, and then right about there looks good. And then we'll also scale it front to back on the Y, so S and then Y, like that. So now we've got kind of a robot-looking-ish thing that we're modeling now. Let's grab a loop cut, or a loop around the torso, and we'll scale that up a little bit on everything but the Z. Something like that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to apply this subdivision surface modifier. So let's just click apply. Oh, can't do that in edit mode, my bad. Let's apply, and there we go. So now we've got that. And you can also see our edge split modifier is allowing us to see that this would not be cut off. And I think if it's one of these, there we go. So this is what it would look like because it's shaded smooth with the edge split modifier. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to handle this edge split ourselves. So we're just going to get rid of the edge split. The edge split was just there so that we could easily see what was supposed to happen. And we're going to go back into edit mode, and you can see now we've got a ton of these vertices going around, and we can modify them individually. However, that's not what I'm going to be doing. So we want to select this ring going around here. So let's go and we'll do the C brush, and then we'll scroll our wheel so that it is a really small brush as we select the vertices going around here. And you just need to be very careful about not getting any extras like this one up here. Middle mouse will get rid of whatever it was, and left click will add to the selection. And then we'll go here, and then ZBrush again, going along the bottom of the hand there. Let's make sure. Oh, looks like we grabbed an extra one there. It looks like we got an extra vertice there. So we're going to do Control B. There we go. So now we've got Control B applied here, and we don't really need that many segments. So let's go with, let's just say 4, and then we'll make it just a little bevel there. We want to make sure that we don't intersect anything improperly. So there we go. Now we've got that nicely beveled, so the shade smooth looks at least reasonably okay. So now we're going to do that on the other 3 limbs. And there we go. So now we've got the bevels all done, and so that's the basic shape of the character. And then we're just going to go over here to our materials, and we're going to say use nodes. We're going to call this material body, and then we'll give it like a dark gray look. Perhaps we'll make it glossy. So let's go for a mix shader, and that will be, let's see here, diffuse, and probably glossy. Let's actually go for this. So let's look at the preview. Yeah, I think that's more so what we're looking for. So for the diffuse color, we're going to make that kind of a dark gray, and let's mess with the factor to see what we've got. That's really glossy. We don't want too much gloss. Just a little bit. And let's go to a live render, and we'll include all of the stuff, the ground. Looks like we need to make it darker, and let's just mess with that so that there's not a whole lot of gloss, but it looks decent. Oop, I missed a 0 there. Perhaps something like that. It might need to be a little bit brighter. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So now we just need to make the eye for it. So we're going to add with Shift A, and then a UV sphere. That should be fine. Let's shade it smooth, and we'll go to the materials. We'll give it a material name. We'll call it eye. We'll go to the whatever this tab is, the object or whatever, and we'll call it eye. And then we'll go to front view. Let's see, we're already locked to the grid. Let's move it. We'll go to medium point. We'll move it up a little bit like that, maybe a little bit further. We'll scale it. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then we'll drag it out the front. And then what we're going to do is we're going to rotate by 90 so that we've got the front portion, which is already designed as a circle. It'll look already pretty good. So let's go to edit mode, and let's go back to the ZBrush, and we'll select the vertices going around here. We don't want those, we want these. And then we'll go to materials, we'll add another material, and we'll call this pupil, and we'll make this like a red looking color. We'll assign it, And then, of course, that's not going to actually make it appear in the viewport properly. So we're going to drag this color right onto the viewport color. And so that's what we've got there. And now if we just take a quick render edit. Oh, looks like it's actually too high. And I don't have it exactly optimized for the GPU there. So that's kind of what that looks like. We probably could mess around with the colors a little bit more. However, I am not super worried about that. I don't know. We'll see. Let's rotate. We need to select everything. Let's rotate it so that it's looking up a little bit. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And let's go back to that eye color, and let's make sure that is all the way white. Let's make it slightly reflective. So again, we'll do a mix shader combined with a diffuse and an anisotrophic or whatever. I can't remember how to exactly say that, but whatever. We'll make it completely white. 0.025 seemed to work pretty nicely for the body. Let's see how it works for this. Well, I think that seems reasonably okay. Perhaps we wanted to make it a little bit more reflective. I don't know. We'll leave it like that, the 0.05. And now we're going to go to the pupil, and we'll do the same thing. So we're going to make that a mix. We're going to make it a diffuse, and then anisotrophic or whatever. And we'll bump this down to 0.05. We'll make sure this is red. Make sure all of these are properly set up as a red. Yeah, that looks actually pretty good, like that. And now we've got the basics of our character done. However, what I'd like to do is I'd like to parent the eye to the character. So we're going to take this eye, and then we're going to shift right click on the body, and then we're going to do Control P, and then we're going to set parent to object and also keep transform. So now when we're moving this, you can see the eye is moving with it as well. So let's just say I had moved the eye over here. I can also grab this, and you can see the eye is still following it. So that seems to be working quite nicely there. Yep, everything is still working. We've got our basic materials all set up for the character. So now we're done with the character, and next up we'll be working on rigging it, the basics of rigging it, and then we'll be able to start progressing through, going through with the inverse kinematics, and then eventually we'll be able to animate it. So I hope this was useful for you guys, and if you want to be notified the instant the next episode for this comes out, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!